What's going on, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming at you with another edition of Bardo's Breakdown. I'm your host, Stephen Bardo. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Always a pleasure to be on with you. Sorry, yesterday I didn't make it. I had some things that come up that prevented me from doing Bardo's Breakdown yesterday. I posted in the group that I would come on today. So good to be back with you. Going to be NBA heavy today. Zoomer Sports was good. Hope you guys are enjoying your afternoon, evening. Flynn Falcone, E. Wells 678 was good. Let me see here. This is my man, original tribe member, Donovan Lane. Good morning, good evening from Singapore. How you doing, Donovan? Appreciate you jumping on, man. As always, thank you. Let's get into it. Monica Graziani, Greg Boysaw, thanks for jumping in. Wanted to bring this up. We had a little Mark Cuban Dallas Mavericks national anthem situation. I don't know if you guys saw this, that Ben Shepherd was good. Good to see you. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Dallas Mavericks, up until the last game or a couple games ago, were not playing the national anthem at their games. It was interesting. And Mark Cuban came on the jump today, obviously via Zoom, and he was talking about the decisions that went around why they were deciding to not play the national anthem. And it was interesting because he said they wanted to start the preseason because they've been talking to people in the community that feel like their voices are not being heard. They're still not quite feeling like they're represented. So it was interesting, and it went on up until a game or two ago until someone from The Athletic picked up on it and kind of ran with it. So I'm curious to see what you guys think. Matt Gertzmeyer, Denny Baggett. I think that's Denny Baggett. My man was good. Good to see you. I want to get your guys' take on that because I thought that was interesting that Mark Cuban in his interview said that he knew that at some point they would have to start playing it again, but he was trying to make a point. He was trying to bring attention to a particular issue, and he must be really in the community. He must be really, Lynn Holly, good to see you. Thanks for joining, as always. He must be really in tune with the community that is in Dallas, the whole community, not just the season ticket holders, not just the wealthy corporate box owners, everybody. And so I thought it was a fantastic move. The NBA came out. Zoomer Sports says thoughts on the NBA requiring the national anthem. I mean, I don't think Mark Cuban did this to not require the national anthem. He's not unpatriotic. He's not un-American. That's not what this is. This is to continue to point a light, to shed light on issues that still need to be addressed that have not been addressed properly. So I tip my hat to him. Let me see what my tribe is saying about it. Andrew Eisfeld. I don't know if I've seen Andrew on here before. If this is your first time, Andrew, welcome. Glad you're on, my man. What's up, Carol? How you doing? I saw it. We are Mavs fans, especially my oldest son. Okay. Rico Moat. What's going on, Rico? All respect to Mark Cuban, one of the best owners in all of sports. I agree. My opinion, we live in the United States and the national anthem should be played. Okay, Carol. I'm with you. It's something that we're accustomed to. It's something that we're used to. I just thought that Mark Cuban did a fantastic thing in terms of doing it subtly and letting someone else bring it to light. He didn't have to say anything. He had a reason why they were doing it. They stopped playing it. It went on. We're like at game 25. This just happened, ladies and gentlemen. This has been going on the whole season. But someone from The Athletic, I don't know the particular reporter that picked up on it, but somebody from The Athletic brought it up, and it naturally became a story out of curiosity. Mark Cuban didn't have to say a thing, and he can control the narrative. That's the beauty in this. So I agree, Carol, I agree with you. I just think it was one of the classiest, smartest approaches at bringing awareness to a situation that you want to bring awareness to without pissing people off, ticking people off, because you're doing something outlandish. That wasn't outlandish at all. It was just, it was a savvy move, in my opinion. And I like the outcome because now he's able to be interviewed about it and he gets to control the narrative. No one else gets to, get in there and change everything up because everyone was waiting to hear from him on why this was taking place. Okay, Flynn Falcone, I appreciate what Flynn says. Tribe, you can't see what they're saying on IG, but Flynn said it's not about patriotism. It's about the fact that not all Americans are equally free. If Flynn Falcone has a mic in his hand, he needs to drop it right now. Strong statement. Can't disagree with you. My Dallas friends say Cuban is an undercover brother, says Lynn Holly. I wouldn't doubt it. B Houston 34, what's good? Y'all got lit up on that one, didn't you? Based on a series of events that just took place in our country, how could you play the anthem in a country full of hypocrisy? Can't disagree with you there, Donovan. What? No, not Pierre. No, not today, Pierre. We've had our college basketball season. They've left a lot of gaps in February to try to have time to reschedule previously postponed games due to protocol situation. And so this week, I had one game scheduled, and it got shifted from our network to another network. So I lost the only game I had this week. So I'm going a little bit more casual, Pierre, if you don't mind. But I appreciate the reminder. Keep me on my toes, brother. Thank you. That's what community is all about, right? It takes a village. Nikki Lane Perkins, what's up, Nikki? Good to see you. Thanks for jumping on. Mark Cuban signs checks and is very popular. He can do whatever he wants. In a week or two, this will not be a story unless others start doing it also. Haven Moser, great point, Haven. Good to see you on here as always, my man. I agree with you. It's a story in that he's trying to bring light to what's going on, right? And that's why I like it. It's not this overblown. It's not, he's anti this, no, he's just subtly in his own way, without being crazy, just trying to bring light to some things. Cuban is smart, did it on his terms. Yep. What's up, Jeff? Good to see you. Mark Cuban is a great benefactor to Dallas. He is always stepping up, putting his money where it is needed, supports so many events, people, charities. Dory Melman. Dory, thank you for that. Always appreciate you supporting. And thank you for suggesting some of your friends to join Bardo's Breakdown. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I think they'll enjoy it. And if they don't, let me know. Because I want to make the experience as good for everyone as I can, because we're all on this journey together. This is something that I'm doing for the first time. I'm a team guy. I played on teams all my life. So I like to move through life with teams. And this is the first time that I've kind of been a coach of a team. I coached teams, but I didn't get the title or the paycheck. But I was coaching some teams that I played on. But now I don't know if it's a coach. Maybe I just get to be the point guard again. How about that? I'm just the point guard that sets the table. I'll let y'all eat. But Dory, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that. Hey, I'm all for the casual look. No need to dress up for us. Mary Gertzmeyer says, all right, Mary. I like to get not suited and booted every now and then, though. Pierre is right. It's about branding. It's about image. And I want to be taken seriously, but I also, the suit and tie thing is what I do for TV purposes when we are actually on the set and on air when they show us. A lot of times this year they haven't because we've been at our headquarters calling games. But I like to dress up and everything for the games, but this is who I am. This is like if you see me go outside and the weather's nice or whatever, this is what I'm going to be wearing. So I also want to incorporate this. So Mary, thank you. Have you touched on, discussed the reasons why some of the usual players? Oh, Greg Boysaw. That's a great discussion. I heard a podcast talking about that today. Let me get to these first, and I'll come back to that. Great question though. B. Houston says player coach. I'll take that. Let's see. Pierre says, I have felt for a long time the national anthem does not need to be played at sporting events. All right. Why do you guys think that? I'm curious. I'm very, very curious about that. But that's interesting because I've heard several people, Pierre, not necessarily in the sports field, but kind of former college athletes. I've heard of a few former college athletes question, like, why do we still do that? Bardo's the most articulate and incisive college basketball answer in the land. Fly, Illini, CCHS, Terriers forever. Flynn, thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words, man. More than you know. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Pierre, I'd like to hear other people's thoughts on that. It's impossible to fix that certain part of the population that has a problem no matter what we do. Okay. Strong statement, Facebook user. It's impossible to fix that certain part of the population that has a problem. Positive Impact, NYC. What's up, baby? Good to see you. No matter what we do. All right. Well, I'm going to share something that my oldest son enlightened me on that I thought was very insightful, very intelligent. And he says that unfortunately, we tie our identity into certain things. And DC Champ 22, J Hood, what's good? We tie our personal identities into certain labels. And then so if you are considered, I don't know how I can say this politically correct, so I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I've learned my lesson. Love you, Stephen Paul, to death, to the moon and back. Can't use that example because I can't figure out a way to say that without sounding crazy. You should have worn your old Mavs jersey today. Yeah, you know what, Jeff? I didn't keep my Mavs jersey, man, because they ran my behind out of there after my coffee breaks. I got a half season in, and I guess they felt like, yeah, let me rip the Bardo and that number off. We can use that jersey again. So I didn't get a chance to keep that jersey. I wish I would have. I wish, but I didn't. But it's all right. Maybe I'll go get a replica or something like that. That might be dope to have, like, the Hawks jersey, the Mavs jersey, the Pistons jersey, and the Spurs jerseys. Kind of like, yeah, that'd be dope. I could do that. It's a good idea. Thank you, Jeff. See, where I grew up, Carbondale, Illinois, it's God's country. I don't care what anybody says. Some great people come out of that area. Jeff's one of them. He and his family. They're just, another example of the people that come out of Carbondale. Man, we smart. We got flavor. Don't hate. I appreciate Mark's stance. Many times, American symbols are used to antagonize people of color. What happened in this country last month and the last 4 years is evident. Many don't care about the flag or the anthem. A strong statement, Don. Are you getting picked up to do the Illini-Nebraska game? No, I'm not, Carol. I think the Nebraska games are going to be, they're starting to bring us out to locations. And if I had to guess it would be Sean Morris or Nick Ba will get the tap on the shoulder to call the next 2 or 3 Nebraska games that are in Nebraska will be on location. So I won't get those opportunities, but I will definitely be watching. Iowa or Rutgers tonight? Ooh. And that game, man, that's a good question. If I had to pick, Rutgers or Iowa, I'd have to give the slight edge to Iowa because they can score, man. And Rutgers, Ron Harper Jr. has really been struggling offensively, so they're not scoring quite as efficiently as they were earlier in the Big Ten slate. And if you can't score 85 against Iowa, you're going to have a hard time beating them. So I'd give the edge to Iowa tonight, but I wouldn't be surprised if that game is, I believe that game. Well, let me stop guessing and let me look and make sure where that game is. And I will let you know emphatically what I think once I figure out. That game is at Iowa. I'm going with Iowa on that one. That's a home game for the Hawkeyes. So that's who I'm going with. When Kaepernick initially stopped standing for the anthem, no one knew until a reporter questioned him. That's right, Don. I see you, Jay Hood. There are certain tropes that people put us in, and we can't fall into the trick bag. No, it's not that. Jay Hood, it's more of recognizing who we are as people and the fact that we are so caught up in our identities on our race or our color or our country or our ethnicity that when you strip that away, he was talking about he either saw a video or saw a couple podcasts from two different astronauts that went up into space on separate journeys. They said the exact same thing, that when you look down on Earth from space, depending on where you are located and what part of the world you're looking at or how far you are, you can tell that that's Tokyo because of the lights and because of you can see the ocean, you can see the shape of it. So, you can't, okay, that's Tokyo, that's this. But you can't see where Russia flows into China, that flows into Mongolia, that you see what I'm saying? You can't see where Europe flows into Asia, and it's just land. And so he was telling me that we get really caught up as individuals. The ego, it feeds the ego. That's what it was, Jay Hood. It wasn't anything outside of that. But what I was saying was, when connecting all that, when you have something as symbolic as a national anthem and the flag, anytime there's an interruption to any kind of habits or customs around those things that are so important, you're going to rile people up based on the ego. That's all I was saying. It wasn't nothing grandiose. It wasn't anything earth-shattering, but it was some knowledge from my oldest son that I can attribute to what's going on today. Steve Hammond, Chi-Town's finest, is in the house. What's up? What's up, Amina? How you doing? Good to see you guys. Thanks for jumping on and being a part of Bardo's breakdown today. All right, wait a minute. I got off what I was saying because we got so deep into that conversation. All right, let's get back to it. I'm going to do the top four in the East. We're going to run through these real quick so I give you guys a heads up on kind of the way that they're playing. All right, the Sixers are first at 18-7. They've won 2 in a row. They've won 8 of their last 10. So the Sixers are hot. Joel Embiid is a leading candidate for NBA MVP. Second, Milwaukee Bucks, 16-8. They've won 5 straight. They're one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They've won 7 out of their last 10. The Bucks, ladies and gentlemen, are starting to figure it out. I know everybody's looking over there in Brooklyn with the big three and what they're doing, but the Bucks quietly, the Bucks and the Jazz are playing some of the best basketball right now. Number 3 in the East, the Brooklyn Nets, 14-12. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 5-5. They're 5 out of their last 10. Kyrie Irving was quoted as saying last night that they looked very average in their 3rd loss in a row. So the Nets, however, though, still find themselves in great position 3rd in the East. To round out the top 4 in the East, the Celtics are in 4th slot, 12-11. They've lost 2 in a row, and they're 4 of their last 10. So they're struggling a little bit. Jaylen Brown returned last night. He missed a couple games due to knee soreness. So I expect them to rebound and do a little bit better, but they're still, I mean, even though they're 1 game over 500, they're still 4th in the East. So they're in fantastic shape. So that's the East. Let's slide over to the West. The number 1 slot in the West is the Utah Jazz with the best record in the NBA. They are 20-5. They have won 5 in a row, and they've won 9 of their last 10. Donovan Mitchell is becoming the superstar that we saw him start to emerge in the bubble last summer. And he hasn't missed a beat since that time. Michael Conley Jr. has been healthy. They'll get Bogdanovich back here soon. Rudy Gobert is playing like the defensive player of the year. They are hitting on all cylinders. The Lakers are number 2 at 19-6. They've won 5 in a row as well. They've won 8 of their last 10. The Lakers are just continuing to find their rhythm. I don't think it's as important for the Lakers to be to finish first in the West. As long as they're in the top 3, I think the Lakers are fine, and they will match up with anybody coming out of the West favorably, in my opinion. The third slot of the LA Clippers, 17-8. They've lost their last 2, and they've won 6 out of the last 10. They're going to miss Paul George for the next 2 games due to toe soreness. And so they're having some injury situations, are the Clippers, and they really haven't had their full roster together for extended periods this year. So they're still trying to figure it out. Octavius Parker, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate you. And the number 4 spot in the West, y'all, Phoenix Suns, 14-9. They've won 3 in a row. They've won 6 out of their last 10. Book has returned. Devin Booker has returned. I think he missed a couple games due to some nagging injury. He's back. So there you go for the top 4 in each conference. And then the NBA rookies that are balling. No pun intended. LaMelo Ball, ladies and gentlemen. He was 21 of 40 from 3 in a recent 6-game stint. He's got the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets are 6th in the East, ladies and gentlemen. They're 1 game below 500. Must-see TV. Young man is balling, right? Tyrese Halliburton from the Sacramento Kings. He's averaging 19 points per game, 5 assists per game, and 3 rebounds per game in their last 4 games, I believe, for the Sacramento Kings. He's stepping up, balling big time. So the rookies playing well. And I just want to give you a quick overview of the league. And now let me get to some questions here. Thank you, guys. Williams Enterprises, thanks for jumping on. I think this might be your first time. Is that G-Town MD? G-Town MD was good. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate you. Let me see here. If you're the Knicks, do you trade a couple of first rounders to get Victor Oladipo? No. I think Victor Oladipo, I need to see him get 100% from his injuries. He has not been the same player. So no, I would not do that. I think the Knicks are fine. They have young talent. They just got Derrick Rose via the trade. Tom Thibodeau hasn't playing hard. RJ Barrett is turned into a player. I didn't know that he was going to be this good. I thought he had too many limitations on his game. Boy, was I wrong. He's balling. The Knicks still have a plethora of guards, so you'll probably see them move Frank Ilakita, the kid from France. They probably would move him, but I wouldn't do that because I don't think that Victor Oladipo is back to the player that we grew accustomed to seeing, and I think he's playing well with the Rockets. So yeah, I love your title as the point guard. You dish the rock when you need to and pick the right time when you need to take it to the paint and shoot the 3. Thank you, Carol. Spoken like a hooper. Oh wow, Pierre. And I think that this is not a surprise. The national anthem no longer represents the multicultural nature of this country. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I can agree with that. Strong statement. Shout out to Flying Falcone and the success of his movie. Or Flynn Falcone. Flynn, you got a movie? Wait, Flynn. Where Flynn Falcone? Flynn, what's the name of the movie, man? You gotta hip us up. Thanks for the tip, Jeff. Appreciate that. Sports have always tried to steer away from politics, so why are we playing a song that has political implications? Donovan Lane. Great point. Listen, see, this is what I like. We call the what's going on in the pandemic. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say the name because social media gets funny sometimes. But what we've been going through for a year, My brother calls it Rona the Revealer. Think about it. Rona the Revealer. Everything is getting questioned now. Everything, as it should. So your point, Donovan, is well taken. I don't have a horse in the race. I don't care either way. If people are passionate about it, fine. If people want to, change, fine. I don't have a horse in this race. It doesn't make or break. I'm not passionate enough to really say, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. No, I mean, it's cool if you need to hear it, you need to see it, whatever, fine. If you feel like you can do without or whatever, fine. I knew it would spur a lot of conversation amongst the people. I see you, J Hood. That's my brother calls it Rona the Revealer. But no, I appreciate you guys sharing your feelings on this. Does anyone know when the national anthem was first played in college sports or sports in general? Carol, that's a great question. Dana Taft, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for jumping on. Why is the national anthem played anyway at sporting events? Many don't participate anyway. People are getting food, talking on their phone. It has no real meaning in those moments. Dawn, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Listen, I think there are some people that it doesn't mean anything to, but a lot of people, if you're being disrespectful during the national anthem, there'll be some people that'll say something to you. So I don't know if we can say that there's a lot of people that don't really care. I don't know. Okay. Flynn Falcone, the infiltration. It's on YouTube Friday. All right. I'm gonna check this out, Flynn, and I'll repost after we're done with the live, so people can go check it out. That's how Carpenter gets down, y'all. Y'all saw how that happen, right? Jeff Jarvis threw that assist. I caught it, threw it to Flynn. Flynn caught it, and he did a Johnny Dawkins over Navy. Ooh, that's old school. Y'all remember that, do you? When Duke was playing Navy, Navy had David Robinson, and Duke had Johnny Dawkins. See, y'all remember Johnny. Y'all know Johnny Dawkins as a college coach. Y'all don't remember Johnny Dawkins as a college player, NBA player. Ooh, he was nasty, left-handed. And so what Flynn did, he caught the alley-oop, and he didn't just dunk it. He caught it and turned like Johnny Dawkins and yacked over his head in the NCAA tournament. One of the most iconic dunks ever in basketball, NBA, college, whatever. I'm revealing how old I am. I don't care. Y'all know what it is. Lynn Holly knows what it is. Let's see. Don said, why bring it up if you're not going to say it? Oh, you're talking about before. Okay. I had the same high school coach as Johnny Dawkins. He could sky. All right. You guys are funny. Aaron Hudson, Google it. It's an interesting story. Okay. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. Daniel Shea O'Malley, we play the national anthem to acknowledge the sacrifices of our soldiers, both men and women of all races, that protect our freedoms and allow for prosperity, especially in professional sports. Southsider and Citadel Bulldog. That's right. See, Daniel, thank you. Thank you. This is what I'm talking about, y'all. This is a platform where it doesn't matter how you feel, right? Everybody needs to be respected, in my opinion, right? Because injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And so if the national anthem, Daniel is passionate about it, right? So if we want other people to respect our ways and our cultures, we can do the same, right? And by no means was Mark Cuban dogging out, making any reference. This was a tactic that was utilized to bring attention to something. And I thought it was masterfully done. I thought he did a magnificent job, right? Because not all hell's breaking loose. CNN's not going with breaking news. And no, it's just like, all right, this is what happened. Wow, I wonder why that happened. Okay, let's interview Mark Cuban and find out. Mark Cuban controls the narrative, gets it out there. You can see that it wasn't anti anything. He was just bringing attention to something because he knows it matters. And Daniel's showing you that it matters. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. A Bucks Jazz final would be fascinating. The Bucks are shooting 40% from three-point range, which is top 5 all time. Thank you, Facebook user. I don't know who you are. Great stat. Thank you for sharing that. Thanks, sir. And Jarvis, easy the sting of when you dunked over me in high school. Flynn, are you in Marion? Are you from Marion or something like that? You might be from Marion. Okay. Let's see. You know what? Facebook uses the Jazz and the Bucks would be fascinating. I don't know if the NBA would want that. The ratings, would it be high? I mean, there's star power. There would be star power, but would the markets do what the NBA wants them to do? I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be a hell of a series because the Bucks are playing as well. I mean, the Sixers are up but one game, but I don't know. Aaron Smith from Detroit, thanks for jumping on. Do you think the Knicks can make it to the playoffs this year? Yes. Tom Thibodeau has enough talent, and he requires his team to play hard enough that they're going to win 10 games off of effort. See why Markham was good? Thanks for jumping on. They'll win 10 more games off effort. Now you got Derrick Rose in the fold. You got guys, RJ Barrett. Now you can even move RJ Barrett more off the ball and let him, come into his left hand and be really dominant and strong. Emmanuel Quickly is been one of the best rookies this year in the NBA. I'm telling you, big boy from, I think he's from Western Kentucky. His name escaped. Mitchell Robinson, I think, is having a coming out party. I mean, Knicks are going to be good. They're going to be. Julius Randle. Knicks are going to be. They're a playoff team in the East. Just a matter of time. Mary Gertzmeyer, do you think college basketball is more exciting than pro? For different reasons, Mary. Because the pros. Here's the difference between the NBA and the pros. College basketball and the NBA. College basketball is so micro-controlled at the end of games because players may tend to make mistakes because they haven't had as many experiences as pros have, and they're not as skilled as pros. So at the end of a college game, you're trying to manage to not make mistakes. At the end of a pro game, you're putting it in the hands of dudes that can go make plays. The WNBA, women that can go make plays. You don't expect them to make mistakes. It might be a missed shot. It might be, good defense and not the best look that you can possibly get, but you don't expect it to go off their foot or to be making a pass to a teammate that read something that you read differently and the ball goes out of bounds on your last possession. To me, that's the difference between the college game and the pro game. But that's a great question, Mary. Thank you. Haven Mosley says, I like the Knicks. The way they play defense, they will always give themselves a chance to win. And now they have scoring coming off the bench of D Rose. Haven Mosley, I couldn't have said it better. The 80s and early 90s college basketball is unbelievable. G-Town MD, you got that right. And I was a part of that time. I was a part of the best time, in my opinion, ever in college basketball was the glory days of the mid 80s to the mid 90s was unbelievable basketball. Unbelievable. Joe Stovall, coming from God's country. What happened to Iowa? 1. 2, will Patrick Ewing be able to turn around at Georgetown? And 3, do you think the NBA will cancel the All-Star game? What happened to Iowa? Iowa's playing in the deepest conference in the country, Joe. They're an average defensive team at best. And so what's happened is there's enough film on what Iowa's doing right now with their current roster that people are able to game plan and really make it difficult on them. You've seen their loss at Illinois. You've seen their loss at Indiana. Close games, but losses nonetheless. And they struggle to get stops late in games. So defensively, they've never really been great defensively under Fran McCaffrey. But they've got to get better if they want to have a deep run, because defensively, they're just having a tough time. Well, Patrick Ewing's already turned around at Georgetown. I don't know if you've seen, but Georgetown they upset UConn. They upset Creighton, which was a top 20 team. I believe they might have played St. John's down to the wire. They just lost to Creighton in a really close matchup. Creighton had to come from behind to win. They figured something out where they weren't getting anything offensively. Now their offense is flowing. They're playing better defense. Something happened in that they had a protocol break. They came out of that. They're playing inspired basketball. I think they've turned the corner. I doubt they'll get to the NCAA tournament this year, but I think their athletic director, Reed, will give him another year, because if you've been watching them play in the last week or two, you're like, okay, something's up with Georgetown. They're a lot better team. Al from Al and Pal Show, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate you. And then the third question, do you think the NBA will cancel the All-Star game? Absolutely not. Because here's the deal, Joe Stovall. I'm paying you $30 million, and you want all of your $30 million. Okay, I want to pay you all of your $30 million. But if we don't have this All-Star game, three-point shooting contest and dunk contest, I will collapse it to a day. We'll bring you in the day before, Saturday, and then Sunday you play, and then Monday you're out. We won't keep you for the whole weekend, right? But if we don't play the All-Star game and we don't fulfill our contract, TV contract, how are we supposed to pay you your full salary when we're not fulfilling our contract? So no, Joe, they're gonna play the All-Star game. they'll get a whole lot of pushback. They're playing the All-Star game. Historians believe 1918 was the first time the national anthem was played during the Red Sox Cubs World Series. Okay. Thank you for that, Facebook user. Did you guys hear that? Historians believe in 1918 was the first time the national anthem was played during the Red Sox Cubs World Series. Man, Facebook user, please put in who you are. I'd love to give you acknowledgement for that. I really appreciate you doing that. Charlie Krogstad, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. I think this must be your first time. If it is, welcome. Bardo's Breakdown. Appreciate you jumping in. Oh, wow. Carol, I saw an interview with Zach LaVine. They asked him about the trade rumors. Do you think the Bulls are willing to trade him or not? If they do, I think it is a huge mistake. Well, coaches, Carol, will look at a player and they'll make a determination on where their ceiling is, right? Now, I know Billy Donovan from covering him when he was a college coach. I've watched him from afar at Oklahoma City, what he was able to do. I really respect Billy Donovan as a coach. So if he feels like they need to put out offers, I don't necessarily think that that's an indication that they would trade Zach LaVine, but it's professional sports. You always have to try to get better. If dangling Zach LaVine out there gives you a sense of his value and his worth and what it could bring to your team and what it could mean to change the dynamics of your team, then they might do it. So it's part of the business. It depends on who they get back, Carol, to me. I think if you're trying to get better, no one is there's only like 10, 15 players that are untouchables in the league now. And so if you're trying to get better, if you're the Bulls and you're trying to scrap and scrape to get into that 8th, 7th position in the East Conference, and I believe they're 4.5, 5 games out of the last maybe out of 8th place, maybe something like that. I don't know. It's doable. They could do it. So I don't know. I don't think it. I mean, like I said, it depends on who they get back. Let me think. Need a small non-speaking role in the next one. Levine was saying it is a business and it feels good knowing other people want you. Yeah, Zach Levine. I'm sorry. Zach Levine he's a pro now. He knows what to say. He knows what to say. Georgetown MD says Zach Levine is balling and he's not expensive right now. Okay. All right. Well, I hear you. I hear you on the Zach Levine piece. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what ends up happening. For those of you all that want to get in on the hold on. What am I doing here? Trying to get back to my banner. Sorry about that, y'all. For those of you all that want to get in on the Insider, the Tribe, the Bardo's Breakdown Group inside situation, there's 2 ways to join. You can text me 312-847-2739. That's 312-847-2739. Or you can go to Facebook, go to Bardo's Breakdown Group. There's a page and then there's a group. Go to the group, answer 3 simple questions, and you're in. Love to see you. The numbers are growing quite well on both the tech side and the Facebook group. I went into the group yesterday and alerted the group that I couldn't come on due to extenuating circumstances. And those are the type of insights that you'll get when I hear schedule changes or I'm at a game or I'll give that. And then my March Madness picks, I'm giving that to you all for free. Everybody else has got to pay. So consider joining the tribe. You guys, anytime you guys come on here, IG can't see all the other platforms on this one thing here. But if you could see the response and the same tribe members that show up, it's a vibrant community. We're having fun. We talk about a lot of different things. It's not just basketball all the time, but we try to really support each other, love one another around the sport of basketball. So I appreciate you all tuning in. Hold on. I got a couple more. CY Markham says, do you think the Warriors will trade Draymond? Why would they trade Draymond? Why would the Golden State Warriors trade Draymond? I think he fits in well with what they're trying to do. They've had success with him. I don't see why they trade him. Why would Golden State trade him? Okay, he said they could trade Draymond to the Raptors for Pascal Siakam, who's still not healthy. Pascal Siakam has not been the same player that he was when Kawhi Leonard was with Toronto and they won the NBA Finals. He has not been the same player. That's a couple years ago. That's a couple seasons ago. So Pascal Siakam, I don't know about that. I put like Pascal Siakam, Kemba Walker, Victor Oladipo, players that have had injuries, serious injuries that have not regained the form where they were playing their best. They have not gotten back to that form physically. I can see it. I can tell. So trading for Pascal Siakam, that sounds good on paper. I don't know. Otto Porter is what hurt Chicago. Didn't pay him to come off the bench money. Okay. Yeah, Otto Porter's been injury plagued as well, though. So, his game is not as predicated on athleticism, but he's another one that I would be careful about. Tat ICN6, thanks for joining. Oh, thank you, Roll. I love and will always respect your platform. Thank you, Donovan. You've had a big reason why it's grown the way it has and the authenticity that we all have in here. because you show up authentic every single time. You and the other tribe members. So love you, appreciate you, and respect you, my man. Couldn't do this without you. Seriously. Thank you. Michael Payne, talk about college dunks. One of the greatest college dunks I saw was in 82-83, Georgia versus Kentucky at Rupp Arena. Dominique Wilkins in traffic, an offensive rebound dunk out of his teammate Terry Fair's hands from behind him with two hands and dunked the ball. I saw him do the same thing a few years later with the Atlanta Hawks. Dominique Wilkins, I had a brief stint with him. I was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. I was in rookie camp, training camp, got cut like towards the end of training camp. So I know Dominique a little bit. Dominique Wilkins he still doesn't get the credit he deserves as being one of the most athletic players in NBA history. And in college, he could jump higher in college than he could in the pros, believe it or not. So he was cutting his head on the rim on a regular basis. Folks thought he had a bad barber. He wouldn't have had a bad barber. He was hitting his head on the rim. No cap, for real. What about trading Kelly Oubre when Klay Thompson gets back? I think Kelly Oubre would be better coming off the bench. I don't think he's a starter. And when Klay comes back, now you bring Oubre off the bench. I think that's a much better fit. G-Town MD, Dominique Wilkins, Georgia highlights, go Google him. He said, my goodness. He's right. Let's see. Carol says, did anyone see the other night when Green took a half-court shot when the Warriors were down by 3? I forgot who they were playing, but the defender faked him out like he was going to foul him and didn't. Savvy. I like that. I didn't see that, Carol, but I'll go back and check that out. Oubre would do well in the dunk contest, CY. That's true. It's a good point. All right, y'all. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Bardo's Breakdown. I appreciate you guys jumping on, always coming in. Join the tribe if you'd like. I do this on a public platform, but the tribe we go deeper than that. So join if you'd like. Love you guys. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Peace, y'all.